What you're going to see today is my potato patch. This is a traditional in-ground potato patch. It's not a no-dig, so I know that's all the rave, but these are not organic seed potatoes either. They're store-bought potatoes that sprouted. I wanted to get them in the ground, so I decided to do it this way. And I wanted to take you guys along and show you step by step what I did to get the potatoes in the ground. So the ground has been prepped, the grass and the weeds have been removed with a garden hoe. Next, it's time to amend the soil. First, I applied some organic bone meal to the soil and just lightly dusted the entire area. Next, I applied some vegetable fertilizer to the area. Just sprinkled that over all sections. Next, I used a garden rake to mix the bone meal and the fertilizer into the soil. Next, I added some mushroom compost. Had a bag that was almost complete, so just added that in as well. Next, I added some organic peat moss. I spread a light layer over the entire garden bed. Finally, I added some garden soil to the growing space, and then I used a garden rake to mix all of the amendments together to combine them into the soil. Next, I'm going to use a small leaf rake upside down just to level out the soil, just smooth out any rough areas, make sure the area is ready to be planted in. The next step here is optional, but I like to use a guide to make sure that my rows are even and straight. You can definitely use anything to make your guide. You can use a broomstick, if you will. Anything that's straight that you can use to outline your rows would be perfect. Now for the fun part. Use a garden hoe to make your trenches, which is where you're going to put your potatoes. Now I'm going to use a smaller hoe to make sure I have the trenches even, level, to the depth that I want. Now I'm going to put some crushed eggshell into the trenches. So here is a slightly better angle of the rows. We have 4 vertical rows and 2 horizontal rows that are smaller. If I didn't mention it, this is a papaya tree there in the 5-gallon bucket that my neighbor gifted me. So here are the potatoes that we're going to be planting today. I have 3 more of the red potatoes inside that I need to bring out. So I think that'll make it about 17 or so. First, I'm just going to lay the potatoes into the trenches, rearrange them, make sure that I like the allocation and size for the area, and then we will move on and get them covered up. Ideally, you want to place your seed potatoes about 8 to 12 inches apart, depending on the size of the area you're working in and the size of the potatoes. You will also want to plant your potatoes about 2 to 6 inches underneath the soil. My least favorite part is getting down on your knees and covering the potatoes with the soil. That's just because I'm old. What the video doesn't show is I did come back and put some additional garden soil over the trenched areas to give it more of a hill or mound. I'm just using a small leaf rake again to take the excess soil and bring it into the hill or mound over the potatoes and kind of create some pathways for me to be able to walk on. So I'm using some brown paper grocery bags split open to cover the walkways and kind of act as a temporary weed barrier. It's at this point that I added the additional soil to the mounds. I covered the entire potato patch with straw. I know that I'll have to replenish that in a week or two. You'll want to make sure that you give an initial deep watering. Then you should be okay for either once or twice a week after that. I added some pine bark to really highlight the rows or the mounds, if you will. Also gives me a safe zone to walk if I need to. So this is my potato patch. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up.